In this video, I'll be talking to you about forming present active participles. So present means that the action is happening at the same time as the main verb. Active means that the noun we're describing is doing an action, and participle is our word for a verbal adjective. And so here are some examples that you've seen in stories recently. We've had ex euntes, clamantes, petentem, currentes, and roganti. So is there anything that you're noticing that's in all 5 of these forms? Do you see it? So it's the NT. Do you see how there's an NT in all of these words? That's our morpheme, or our sound unit. Let's clean that up a little bit and close both the N and the T. That's our sound unit, NT. That means that we have a present active participle. So that's what we're looking for. I do want to remind you, we might have NT in other places doing other things. So you don't want to confuse this with the ending NT that you might see on a indicative verb like amant, they love. This is an NT that's put on the verbal stem inside of a form. And so we're going to see that at work in a moment. So when we're looking at the rest of the form, we're seeing, for example, on the second one, so I'm looking right here at clamantes, we can see the stem clam, the NT, and then here is our ending that just tells me nominative or accusative, plural, masculine, or feminine, because this is an adjective. And what declension has ace? Yeah, it's a third declension adjective. So that's my ending. So my stem then on the participle in this case is clamant, and then I'm adding on to there. Third declension is our anything is declension. So kind of hang on to that information. So where am I getting, if you think about the principal parts of this word, where am I getting clam from? Think about the principal parts. We have, for the principal parts, clamo, clamare, clamawi, clamatus. So where in there am I getting this clam part? Do you see it? Is it maybe right here and right here? See, on this one, clama was my stem. So I don't want all that information. I want just the CLAM. So I'm getting it here from the first and the second principal part, which always have the same stem. So I can see right there in the clam. So I'm using that CLAM stem from the first principal part. So if you look, for example, at petentem, we're taking the PET from peto. Currentem, the CURR, is coming from curo. Rogantem, the ROG, is coming from rogo. XAO, that's an irregular verb, so we're not going to really worry too much about that one. Those will pop up and you'll recognize them pretty easily. But it is similar to what you're used to seeing in the form aon. So AO is it, emphasis is aon. So you are used to seeing that kind of a stem on AO. All right, so I've got my clam, and then here I've got at the end, right now, because I haven't put on the actual declensional ending yet, I've got my NT saying participle. So where is this coming from? What's that doing? Yeah, that's my vowel to connect. So why would this one be an A? Because I'm in the first conjugation on clamare. So in the first conjugation, I'm going to use an A to connect. And then everywhere else, so in first, I'm going to use an A. Everywhere else, I'm going to use an E. But if it's one of our forms where that first principal part has an IO on it, so third IO, like fugio, or fourth conjugation, audio, I'm going to have an IE. So in the second and the third conjugation, I'll have just an E, third IO, and fourth, I'll have an IE. So I'm going to take that stem, and then, so that's for that. I'm going to take that stem from that I said I got up here from the first or the second principal part, plus my vowel to connect, plus NT to form my participle. So let's try one of those. Okay, so I've got the verb audio, audire, audivi, auditus to here, and I want to form my participle. So I can see right here I've got an AUD. Because there's an I need an I also to connect. Now, if I was in first conjugation, I would go to an A. I'm not, I'm in fourth. So I'm gonna add an E. And then what's the mark of the participle? NT. And then I'll have my endings. So if I want to think about the third declension, that's my anything is pattern, E, and so on. We'll talk about declining later. But in terms of forming this, we need that information because we present an adjective in the third conjugation with two forms, a nominative and a genitive. And we're going to use audiens. That's my anything form. Audientis is my genitive form. So I'm always going to have ens entis when I'm forming the participle. And so that T that's right here on the audientis, this T over here gets eaten up by our anything ending, and so we're not actually going to see it there in the nominative, but we're going to see it everywhere else. So audiens, audientis, and this is, the verb is to hear, so it's going to mean here, and now I want to make it describe something as doing this action, so we would say hearing. All right, so I'm going to give you 5 of these to form tonight, and you'll come in tomorrow with notes from your video written down and with these 5 words formed as participles. Okay, so here's that homework. You're going to form the present active participle and translate for these 5 verbs: porto, moneo, ago, fugio, and winio. So I want you to give the 2 forms in Latin. So that means that you're going to give me a nominative, which is going to end in ens, a genitive, which is going to end in entis, and an English meaning, and that English meaning is going to end in ing. So that's what you're doing tonight. Thank you.